Heirs, Heirs. Heirs means that we're joint heirs with Christ. But part of that joint heir is this, that we recognize that we have the fullness of all the blessings, the fullness of all the promises. But at the same time, while we're sharing in all things, we learned in verse 17 that we share in what? We also share in the sufferings. One of the things that we're seeing here is the real question is, why do we have to suffer as believers? Really good question. And I want to share with you just first off this one portion. But it says this in verse 22 of what our text will be this evening. For we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pangs until now. The whole creation groans, the whole creation labors. One of the things that we realize is that we as Christians, redeemed Christians, we are the sons of God, but we are not yet where we're going to be, eternally glorification. Where we are now is this. We're in this world. And what happened was back in Genesis chapter 3, verse 17, God, talks to Adam and he says, listen, cursed is the ground for your sake, and toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. And you shall eat the herb of the field, in the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Understand, the whole world was cursed. And that's what we're facing, that we live in what is known as a fallen world. It isn't the world that God initially designed as far as with the Garden of Eden. Now the world is cursed. And so as we're coming into this, I think it's important to really begin to see this path that justification does bring. One of the things that we see is this, in this path of suffering to glory, that we're looking at this path of adoption. And we're seeing this positional adoption. I want you to take a look at verse 18. He says this, for I consider the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to compare with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Now, whenever you see this word for, it's important to recognize that what it does is it makes a connection to the verse before and a connection to the verse after. So it's the two things, which is why I read verse 17, because the word before verse 18, where it says, for I consider, what? Verse 17, if children, then heirs, if heirs of God, then joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, that we also may be glorified together. For I consider, you see how this now goes right after, that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed.